Apparently, Bianca Belair attacked Zelina Vega during her Twitch interview with Kayla Braxton. Now, that concept was a concept that I wanted to see with Sonya and Mandy on their Demandy's Donuts channel. I don't know, maybe they did suggest it and, they got the same old runaround and, sounds good, and then we give it to someone else. Who knows? But the Zelina bit, they botched up. Similarly to when Sonya was doing her interview with Maria Menounos and Mandy called in to bother her. So basically what both skits had done on both interviews, Zelina is being referred to as her real name, Trinity, by Kayla, and then Bianca comes in. Sonya was being called Daria by Maria, and then Mandy called in the goof on her, and then it kind of flipped to she's Sonya Deville now, and it's like, come on, are we going to do kayfabe? You guys, come on, step it up a little bit. In character, out of character. In character, out of character. Come on, sheesh. But anyhow, as per usual, I usually do a week by week breakdown on this Sonya and Mandy situation that we have here. And due to the various issues that WWE has been having, we haven't seen them in a while, to the point that I was actually thinking, I think it's been 7 or 8 weeks since Mandy Rose actually was in the ring wrestling. But it is what it is. It's no fault of theirs. It's more so the fault of the company and their stupid mistakes, which we will not go into. Anyhow, I wanted to wait until this second week because I wanted to see if they were going to continue with the storyline or if they were going to blow them off, which is what they have done in the past. They'll let these two ladies get heat, and then the following week we're looking at Matt Riddle paint his toenails or whatever, and then they just completely forget. It seems like WWE is just playing with them. It just, to me, it feels like they're being strung along as far as these two having a match. It seems like the match that we saw several weeks ago might be the only thing that we're going to see outside of mixed match tags. Last week, I liked the attack. It was cool. Some things I noticed that just came to my mind. The concept of Sonya smearing the lipstick on Mandy, and then throughout, and especially at the end with the camera holding on her face as she's beaten, it kind of gives the feeling of the lipstick representing blood without actually having to get busted open. It's just a visual that I happen to catch. The direction of it, as far as calling that drama, one of the things that I dislike in general is if we are doing, we're staging this whole concept, we're staging a fight. It doesn't seem believable that when Sonya was beating up Mandy and she's over her and she's cutting her hair, that Mandy would just take it. The setup to me was wrong in terms of the accessibility of Sonya just being able to cut Mandy's hair like it was nothing. It still seemed as if you go back and look at the footage, it looks at any point in time that Mandy could have completely got up or grabbed her leg and knocked her down. It needed a couple of more hits or kicks or punches to really make it seem like Rose was incapacitated or barely conscious before getting her hair cut. That was my issue with it. I was also going to speak on the weirdo pixelations that we were seeing, but now we know it's a angle that is going to flop. And I'm going to tell you in a few weeks exactly how this should have gone down. Not going to say that now. We're going to wait because I know that they're going to completely drop the ball in this whole thing. Anyhow, I'd seen some mentions of hair versus hair. It's too gimmicky. Play this. It's gimmicky / too early. I could go for a hair versus hair match if they had prior matches that were going to build up. Like I had asked for my Iron Woman match or Last Woman Standing match. That's what we should have gotten first. And then if you want to keep this feud going on, or even you build up to the Last Woman Standing match and you have them and they have smaller matches, and then you could go through the gimmick matches. So now you do the hair versus hair. Then in September, October, you do the Last Woman Standing match. Anything that's going to buy them time, which you've heard me say repeatedly. What I felt that they were doing, and now as you can see, this is exactly what they are doing. They're buying time to get them closer to Royal Rumble or closer to Mania. The way things are looking, in my opinion, side note, we're going to see a cure. I'm saying, I said this a long time ago. This is my little medical / political stance, and I'll get off of it. Because I'm seeing a lot of doctors speak out about the various ways that they've been curing patients from this symptom or disease. And similar drugs, similar combinations come up. And I'm not just talking about, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, there's a group of doctors, they were speaking on it in DC, and then now I'm seeing other doctors using the same chemistry, if you will, and getting results. So it's going to force some real truths to get kicked out. Now, whether or not, if it's definitely going to be during the election time, that's a possibility. Before it, it's a possibility. Or if Biden were to win, just knowing how the game goes, I would not be surprised if it comes out, first quarter, just to make him look good. I'm going to leave that alone. Let's get back to this, because that's the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because it all leads up to their big events, which Royal Rumble and Mania and yada, yada, yada. Another thing that I noticed, I thought was very silly, was that when after Sonya beat up Mandy and the refs show up, she's threatening them with the clippers as if, I'll cut your hair and I'll cut your hair off. I'll cut you first. As if like you charging someone with clippers was automatically meaning that their hair is going to drop off. You actually have to hold the person's head or body part still and then apply the clippers for it to cut. Anyway, side note, I was wondering all this time, have they been shooting a Total Divas? And we just don't know about it. I know if E was smart, they're definitely shooting a Bellas, especially with the arrival of the two twins. I'm calling them twins. So it just, side note. Anyway, let's get back to this. I got off. Hopefully you kept track of what I'm saying. It all leads up. It's all tied in. Anyhow, those matches would have given them enough time per pay-per-view to say, hey, at least we have 2 months here before Rumble, whatever. But to have a hair match right now, to me, it just would be silly. It just doesn't, but, it is what it is. The follow-up to last night kind of seemed like a rehashing, but you just put Sonya in the ring with Miz and Morrison where 3-4 weeks ago you had Mandy in, and then you just swapped out the event outside of them fighting during that segment. They fought during the tag match. Okay, now this leads to what happened when they had Mandy as the guest, and you heard me mention prior that Mandy never mentioned Miz making fun of her. So now these two make fun of her again, and let's see, is there going to be a follow-up where there's going to be, I mean, it would just be, even if you were to cut a promo on Sonya and then mention Miz and them, you know, just to have them ignore it and then just whatever. Okay, it's just standard WWE practices. I'm not going to even dwell on that. I'm glad that they did do a follow-up. It's good to see Otis and Tuck together again a little bit more. Even though you did see him last week. I feel it's subliminally insulting in a way, but that's how the McMahons run their business, or Vince runs his business, or whatever, right? Because you have a talent, right, who has made it known, and that people actually agree that Mandy kind of embodies Trish Stratus, right? And it's just like he's just pissing all over what could be the second coming of Trish Stratus. Week after week, it's been her getting her ass taxed. So to the point where I had to just go, wait a minute, like, this is how you would do Trish Stratus? But then I thought about something last night, which was, well, this is how he treats the Big Show. When everyone was calling the Big Show the next Andre. And once he got his hands on him, he just... It almost seems like he didn't know what to do with him. He just wanted that extra toy to mess with. You know, and it's... For those that can understand what I'm saying, thank you. That's what I'll say. Thank you for understanding what I'm saying. It's like, what are you going to... I doubt he's going to take a dump on The Rock's daughter. You know, I highly doubt, especially with the XFL deal. But, you know, I don't want to babble on. It just makes no sense to me sometimes. Because, you know, I'm used to seeing a back and forth with feuds. And it's really looking like it's one-sided. And then what, they're going to have one singles match again? And then what, that's going to be the end of the feud? I don't know, man. It's getting to the point now where it's just like, I just only like watching the highlights now. Because it's just really not interesting on various levels. But I said that I was going to stick around until the storyline ran its course. I'm going to stick around until the storyline runs its course. No matter how odd this storyline goes. So, you know, really kind of being in sync a little bit more, at least I feel being a little bit more in sync with what WWE is doing. They're under-delivering, in my opinion, on many facets, on many levels. They're under-delivering because it's brand first, people second. Brand first, people second. And for Vince McMahon to blatantly lie on a sales call, on a quarterly investors call, to investors to say that, oh yeah, we need new characters and new creativity. Shoot yourself. So let's see what's going to happen next week, if this story is going to continue or if they're going to do another Shorty G running for 90 minutes or whatever, minus commercials. There's more. Shit. I don't know if I should talk about this now. Okay, I'm going to talk about it, and side note, if I decide to take this out, then I will omit this and I'm going to save this for another time when it's going to be a little bit, it makes sense now, but it will make sense a bit more down the road. Trust me. So I'll leave it at that unless something else pops up in my mind. I bid you adieu.